Brett Okamoto with UFC President Dana White in Abu Dhabi ahead of UFC 242. They're building an arena as we speak. Khabib Nurmagomedov facing Dustin Poirier in a unification bout in the lightweight division. World traveler, Dana, you were in China before this, and obviously we got a big fight weekend to talk about, but I did want to circle back with you on China. What were your thoughts? Tell me about the experience out there.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was blown away by how into the fight the fans were. They started chanting, and obviously, I say it all the time, when you got somebody that looks like you, talks like you, and comes from where you come from, and they're one of the baddest in the world, the crowd reacts to it, and the fans get behind it, and we saw that last Saturday.
Tell me, obviously it's clear why people in China would care about this. It's clear why the brand of the UFC would care about this. Why should just casual fans out there, whether in the U.S. or any other market that's not China, why is this a big deal for them?
Well, why is this a big deal in Abu Dhabi this weekend? Anywhere. It's not whether it's China or England or wherever it might be. If you're a fan of the sport and, there's monumental moments like the first Chinese world champion, which a lot of people thought wasn't possible, especially against somebody like Andrade, it's a big deal for the sport.
Especially so soon, too. I mean, I knew we'd see a Chinese champion at some point, but Wei Li Jiang doing it this early.
Yeah, it's funny because, we started this initiative years ago. We had sent Sean Shelby into South America, Asia, and different parts of the world looking for talent and bringing them back to the United States to train. And now, we're going to the whole next level. We're building these performance institutes. We're getting ready to break ground in Mexico City here pretty soon.
Yep. Well, tell me, I know you probably don't have a firm answer, but as of today, in your mind, who is the front runner to be the first woman to challenge Wei Li Jiang? Is it Tatiana Suarez? Is it Rose Namajunas? Or, of course, you got that big fight between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Michelle Waterson.
Right. I don't know yet. Obviously, I've been on the road the whole time, and now we're dealing with Abu Dhabi and, all the things that are going on here. So I haven't really sat down in a real matchmaking meeting and thought about it. And it's going to depend on a lot of things, like you said, the outcome of that fight. Who's next? Is Rose ready? Who's healthy? A lot of different things. That's how Wei Li Jiang ended up getting the title shot, is because the way that everything played out.
Yep. Expectations here for UFC 242. I mean, I've seen the articles out there talking about how the numbers on your sites and everything that you're putting out seems to be like people are responding very well. What are your expectations for this event, and why do you think it's resonating right now?
Yeah, well, I think that Khabib is a big star. And, ever since the Conor fight, this is his first fight back. And Dustin Poirier has obviously worked his way to the top, beating all the best guys in the world, including Max Holloway, to get this shot at Khabib. So it's a big fight, and Khabib's a big star.
How big of a star is Khabib, do you think? Do you think he's bigger than Conor, if you had to compare the two?
I mean, to compare to Conor, to come out and say anybody's a bigger star than Conor, I think that the fight with him and Conor, I think people had always been into Khabib, undefeated. Nobody's undefeated the way that Khabib is undefeated in this sport. The win streak that he's on, the people that he's beat. Now, you had that massive fight with Conor, which put him over the top and made him an even bigger star.
How about Conor? Have you heard anything about him? Do you expect, is there even a possibility? I mean, this would seem like the old Conor, he would want to insert himself into this narrative. He'd want to be around here. He'd want to come to Abu Dhabi and stand up in the crowd and watch this lightweight title fight. Have you heard anything about if he plans on being here?
Well, no, he won't be here. I talked to Conor normally twice a month, but we've been talking. I talked to Conor this morning. No, he will not be here, but he'll be watching.
What are you guys talking about on last night, this morning?
He was talking about my sunburn yesterday, so we're not talking about anything serious. But yeah, we were talking about my sunburn.
The hashtag Pink Lives Matter. Yeah,
exactly.
I happened to notice that too. What have you had any conversations with him just in terms of time frame? He did say on ESPN that he thought in a perfect world he still would come back this year. I mean, are you hopeful for that, or do you think next year is more likely for him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's all going to depend on his hand and how fast it recovers.
Obviously this is a big fight this weekend. You know how the media is. They're always looking ahead before we even get to the fight itself. People have been asking Khabib. They've been asking Dustin Poirier, who is the next guy up. They both have said Tony Ferguson. Is it as simple as that? Is Tony Ferguson getting the next shot? Yeah.
Listen, again, if Tony Ferguson's ready. Tony Ferguson's been offered opportunities before that he hasn't taken. So if Tony's ready, then yeah.
Okay. And there was a time when Nate Diaz sort of factored into this. He seems to have found his place a little more at welterweight than lightweight. he called out George Masvidal. Is there any update on where that fight is headed?
Listen, Nate Diaz has fought once in the last 3 years, and I don't know. I don't even think of Nate, and when I think about the big picture stuff, I don't even think about Nate. Nate is one of those weird situations where, we might not hear from that kid for another 3 years.
Okay. Well, looking ahead at the rest of the year, before we let you go, 2 big events, obviously, one in November, one in December. You haven't announced main events for either one of those. You did say about a week ago, I want to say, that Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, that was a fight you were targeting. Is there any update on that? Have you seen some progress there?
With Usman and who?
Colby Covington.
No, I haven't done anything yet. I was in China. I came here.
Okay.
I haven't done anything. I got nothing for you, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I'll stop asking about the rest of the year. Last thing I do want to ask you about is, did you see the videos of BJ Penn? I mean, BJ Penn is an absolute legend in this sport. I know how you feel about him personally. So there are some people out there who have criticized you for continuing to give him fights.
Yep.
Then you see videos come out of him, in an altercation in Hawaii. What were your thoughts when you saw those videos?
He won't fight again.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap.
Why is this the last straw? I mean,
it's not even that this was the last straw. It's I didn't love him continuing to fight anyway, but when you have the relationship that he and I have, and he's getting me on the phone, begging me for another fight, begging me for another opportunity, it's hard for me to to turn him down. But after what I saw on that video, BJ needs to he needs to focus on his personal life and get himself together before he thinks about fighting again.
Have you informed him of that yet?
I haven't personally, but yes, we have as a company. Yes.
I mean, you have about 1 billion things going on, but this sport is near and dear to your heart, and BJ Penn was a guy who was very important to you and this company for a long time. I mean, is this something that you feel like you can get involved in and try and help the guy, or is it, he's a grown man, he's got to do it himself?
Yeah, first of all, I think that, listen, I don't want to sit here on TV and pick BJ Penn apart in his life and whatever. I think that we all know what BJ Penn needs to do, and hopefully BJ Penn knows what BJ Penn needs to do. I'm not going to sit here like I'm his father or I'm some guy who's above him and pointing the finger at BJ and BJ needs to do this and that. What I saw in that video was sad. And I love the kid, and I hope he gets his life together. And obviously, the guy calls me, and I'm still putting him in fights. If BJ Penn needed me, all he's got to do is pick up the phone and ask. So, if he does, I'm sure he'll call, and if he doesn't, I hope he gets his life together.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much for the update on that. UFC 242 coming up this weekend. Incredible main event. Khabib Nurmagomedov undefeated. Dustin Poirier, though, he looks like he's coming in knowing he's going to win this fight. I just spoke to him moments later. Very confident. So should be a great main event here in Abu Dhabi.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and special content, subscribe to ESPN+.